Merab Dvalishvili. Wow, Shuka didn't shake Merab's hand.
Oh my God.
The tension is palpable in the air at the first event in the incredible Las Vegas Sphere.
This is unbelievable. My hands are already shaking from the tension.
This is one of the most interesting matchups in recent times as two fighting philosophies clash in the octagon. Sean O'Malley represents the fighters who rely on precise technique and exotic moves and combinations. He's a flashy striker with solid takedown defense. This is how we typically envision champions, but in recent years, especially now in the UFC, the ones who win are not the most technical, but those who press forward no matter what. And that's exactly what Merab Dvalishvili does. He may lack striking skills, is mediocre in grappling, and decent in wrestling. How then does someone like this have a 10-fight winning streak? The answer is simple: pressure. He pushes his opponent relentlessly and never gets tired. It seems that in MMA, this is the key weapon right now. Look at the current middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis. His striking looks like it was animated by the Looney Tunes team. His combinations are awkward, coordination is absent, yet he finishes the best fighters in the world. The same is happening in the welterweight division, where technically flawless Leon Edwards lost to Bilal Muhammad, who fights as if in a dream. Why are these types of fighters becoming champions now? First, it's about the pressure they apply. Second, despite the clumsiness of their technique, such fighters are tactically well prepared, and with their willpower and cardio, they manage to execute their game plans fully. Now let's look at how Merab Dvalishvili performs in his fights, and then we'll find out if Sean has a chance to stop him. We're going to watch the fight that sent the legendary Jose Aldo into retirement. What did Merab do that was so remarkable? Of course, he started the fight with heavy pressure, which is especially effective against Aldo, who was always known for tiring after the third round. But this fight is only 3 rounds, so what will Merab do? A failed attempt at a leg takedown, but Dvalishvili transitions to a clinch. As soon as Dvalishvili tries to strike from the clinch, he immediately loses control and gets caught by a left hook on the exit. Merab lands a jab, and Aldo counters with a left hook. Merab throws another jab, but this time it's a feint to bait Aldo into throwing a hook, which Merab slips under for a takedown. Get used to this sequence because you're going to see it at least 10 more times. Again, the setup for a takedown, a real strike that makes the opponent react, followed by a feint that leads into a takedown. Jose lands another hook on the clinch exit, the same one that dropped Merab in the first round. The same takedown setup, again, a real punch to bait the opponent, then a feint leading into a takedown. And once more, a real punch, followed by the takedown feint. Merab strikes with his hand and loses control in the clinch again, nearly eating a left hook, which already dropped him in the first round. Yet again, the same setup for a takedown. Real strike. Feint, takedown. Aldo shows that at close range, Merab's feints don't work. He can simply stop everything with a knee, which works as a counter to both the strike and the takedown feint, making it a fatal move for Merab's plan. Aldo didn't think about whether the strike was a feint or real, and immediately ducked to avoid a takedown, clinch, and prevent Merab from attacking. Aldo throws a jab to make Dvalishvili strike, followed by a feint and takedown. But Merab lands a low kick, followed by an overhand, which prevented Aldo's planned knee from working. It was an extremely close fight. In my opinion, it was an ideal candidate for a draw, but that night, Merab won. Now we'll see Dvalishvili's most dominant victory, the fight where he mentally broke Petr Yan. Merab fakes a couple of times and immediately goes for a takedown. Petr is known for his slow starts, needing time to study his opponent and catch the timing, which made the matchup with Dvalishvili twice as hard. That's why he missed the takedown and got lost after it. 2 feints and another shot at the legs. Yan gets flustered again, making a silly attempt at locking in a guillotine. A jab feint follows, and Merab goes for one of his signature single-leg takedowns, where the right hand is used as a straight strike. While the opponent is distracted by the hand, he grabs the opponent's leg to put them on the canvas. But the problem with Dvalishvili is that his attempts rarely succeed, and when they do, the opponent hardly ever stays on the ground. Another feinting combination leads to a single-leg attempt. Merab immediately realizes it's a failed attempt, so he tries a sweep. But as with much of Dvalishvili's execution, it was rather clumsy. The opponent stayed on his feet, but Merab used it as an opportunity to press his opponent against the cage. Dvalishvili throws a straight punch, followed by a feint for another straight. While Yan is thinking about that, his leg ends up in Merab's left hand, and the feinting straight controls his neck. This causes Petr to lower his torso to gain balance, but Dvalishvili cleverly grabs Yan in a guillotine. Now Petr has to defend his neck with his supporting hand, leaving him almost no ability to balance. Merab takes advantage and presses him against the cage. Coming out of the clinch, Merab adds an elbow to the head, which was a good strike and a way to protect himself from Yan's left hook on the exit. Yan mimics Merab, ducks as a feint, then goes for a takedown under Merab's counterhook. But unlike Dvalishvili, Petr succeeds with the takedown. However, since he executed his move at an angle, his balance was disrupted, and Merab took advantage to stay on top. Beyond Yan's butterfly guard, Merab couldn't advance and quickly lost the opportunity to keep Petr on the ground. That was the first round against Petr. Now let's look at the fifth and final round. Ideally, by the fifth round, Yan should have adapted to Merab's style, and Dvalishvili should be tired. A punch forces Yan to dodge, which Merab uses to grab him in a guillotine. Both understand it's not a real submission attempt, but Yan still needs to defend. Merab capitalizes on this and drives Yan to the cage, landing knees to his head and exiting the clinch with a right elbow. Yan sees the approach again and dodges with a high guard. This time, Merab doesn't go for the guillotine, but lands an elbow to the head. Merab feints a low kick. Yan prepares to counter with a straight punch, which Merab expects. He ducks deeply under Petr's strike and uses the takedown attempt to drive Yan toward the fence. After conditioning Yan to expect knee strikes to the thigh, Petr seems to have forgotten that his leg could be hooked. That's exactly what Merab does, but as usual, it's a takedown, with control for half a second. Afterward, there's another sweep attempt. It's clear that this moment finally broke Petr. Every jab from Merab draws a jab in response from Petr as he backs away, which only boosts Dvalishvili's confidence. He sees that Yan is now afraid of the takedowns and ready to retreat at any moment. A classic takedown, a straight punch and a grab for the lead leg. But Petr didn't even try to defend. He just fell, muttering,
"Mama, please, no more."
After that moment, Yan allowed a few more takedowns. It was outright domination, primarily due to Merab's cardio, which mentally broke his opponent. And finally, I'll analyze the fight against the intimidating, though declining, Marlon Moraes. From the first seconds of the fight, Moraes aimed to land powerful low kicks and counter Merab with a left hook. But the problem with the left hook was that Dvalishvili moves like a goblin with a motor strapped to his back. As a result, Marlon couldn't land the hook before being struck with a straight to the head. However, his solution was very interesting. Moraes decided to duck deeply when Merab started his combinations and resurfaced with a left hook. The first time he landed it decently on Dvalishvili, and the second time he knocked him down and essentially won the fight. If not for the good referee, who noticed that Merab was still in the game and allowed him to fight back, the fight could have ended there. But seconds before the end of the first round, Dvalishvili turned the tide and almost finished his opponent on the ground. Time ran out, and he finished him in the second round. The key secret to Merab Dvalishvili's style is that he fights relentlessly. He wants to win more than his opponents, and nothing can stop him. That's why they call him the Machine. After seeing all of this, it's hard to believe that a striker who needs space, like O'Malley, will have anything to offer Merab. But Sugar Sean isn't as simple as he seems. The fight against Petr turned O'Malley into a title contender, so we'll start with that and compare how both fighters faced Yan. Sean knows that Petr quickly studies opponents, so from the first seconds of the fight, he throws many feints. A jab feint from Sean is followed by a double jab. This is especially effective for closing the distance against someone who constantly backs up, which Yan frequently does, making it easy for Sean to land a straight punch. Yan feints a jab, making O'Malley move to the side, exactly what Petr was waiting for. He shoots for a takedown and tries to spin Sean clockwise, then counterclockwise, to throw him off balance. But O'Malley defends skillfully, keeping his hips low to maintain a center of gravity advantage. Petr continues to work in the clinch, but when he lands a hand strike, Sean immediately grabs it. This is important because Yan can't execute a takedown with one hand, and it allows O'Malley to escape the clinch. Yan throws a feint at which O'Malley reacts with a check hook. However, halfway through, Sean realizes he fell for the feint and freezes in place, while Petr lands a side kick to his leg. From this moment, O'Malley is in a catch-up position. Yan throws 3 hooks in a row to distract Sean and force him to raise his hands. Then he goes for a leg shot and successfully locks his hands. This time, he doesn't attempt a graceful takedown but lifts Sean with raw strength and throws him to the ground. However, O'Malley isn't thinking of giving up. He keeps Yan from advancing beyond the guard, then uses his legs to push off Yan's hips and get back up. While getting to his feet, Sean holds Yan's hand to prevent him from clinching or attempting another takedown. O'Malley decides to return the favor at the end of the round, going for a leg shot. Yan quickly tucks his legs to prevent Sean from locking his hands, but O'Malley swiftly circles around him and takes his back. Sean throws his signature feint, which Yan doesn't react to. O'Malley repeats it and follows with a powerful straight. Petr, again, doesn't react and stands in place, taking the hit to his jaw. O'Malley couldn't finish Petr. Once Yan recovered a bit, he copied what O'Malley had done, jabbing to make the opponent pull back his head, then stepping forward with an overhand punch. This time, Sean is the one shaken. Yan switches to another finishing tactic and takes O'Malley to the ground, but Sugar Sean doesn't let him advance beyond the guard. Yan feints a jab, to which Sean responds with a hook, but too late. It wasn't just a jab feint, it was a setup for a sweep that Petr executed successfully. But again, Yan couldn't keep Sean on the ground. O'Malley attempts a sweep, but gets blocked as Yan shields himself with a high guard and a lowered head, anticipating a punch. Thus, the sweep fails. A funny feint from O'Malley. He suddenly looked upward, which startled Yan, and then landed a precise 1-2 to the jaw. Yan throws side kicks to the leg, then steps behind Sean's leg for a sweep. Realizing it won't work, he switches to a high crotch takedown, but O'Malley skillfully controls Yan. Sometimes the answer is simpler than it seems. Yan often covers up in a tight guard and lowers his head when opponents close in on him. Considering O'Malley's height, it's strange that he didn't use knees earlier. This is exactly what he does in this sequence, rocking Petr. He then adds a powerful left hook. From that point on, Sean was clearly ahead in terms of damage in the round, but he did get taken down 2 more times. Many still argue about who actually won that fight. In my opinion, Yan won statistically, while Sean won based on damage. In my eyes, it's a draw, but the judges gave the victory to O'Malley. Sean's contender fight was quite controversial, and he entered the championship bout as the underdog. However, this didn't affect the mentality of Sugar Sean. O'Malley started the fight confidently, advancing with teep kicks to the body and a lot of feints to keep Aljamain thinking. This is a risky but correct approach against a wrestler because shooting for takedowns is much harder when your back is against the fence. Despite this, Sterling kept pressing forward, forcing Sean to switch stances from orthodox to southpaw. This is the moment Aljo was waiting for, to catch O'Malley during the switch and execute a quick takedown. He adds a hook, but misses and eats a powerful jab. This moment essentially foreshadowed how the fight would end. Remember this sequence of actions. Later, O'Malley slips while attempting a teep kick, and Sterling capitalizes on it for a takedown. However, Sean controls one of Aljamain's hands and manages to escape the brutal clinch. O'Malley's next teep kick signals Aljo to press forward before the leg lands back on the ground. He charges in with a wide hook. Now, recall what happened in the first round. Sterling expects Sean to switch stances again and catch him in a takedown at that moment. But this time, Aljo's only worried about the jab that O'Malley used last time, so his head is positioned to make the jab fly past the back of his head. However, Sterling miscalculates, and instead of a jab, Sean lands a powerful straight punch, marking the beginning of the end for Aljamain. Sean O'Malley's first title defense was against the only man who had ever defeated him, Marlon Chito Vera. Before this fight, many debated whether Vera's kick to O'Malley's leg was intentional or accidental. Chito claimed he purposely targeted the nerve in Sean's leg and deserved the victory, while O'Malley didn't even consider it a loss. That's why the rematch was set up, to finally reveal the truth. And yes, that man in yellow shorts is Marlon Vera, not some bum brought in to be sacrificed to Sugar Sean. Even though that's exactly what this fight looked like, let's break down the only interesting moment in this beatdown parade. However, everyone knows about that knee strike, the sound of which Marlon Vera still hears whenever he chews. What's most amusing is that Chito was the one who inspired Sean to throw that knee. Chito throws a jab, which Sean counters with his own jab and suddenly follows up with a body hook. Vera thought that if he baited O'Malley with another jab, he could catch him with a knee when Sean went for the body hook again. Sean quickly caught on, first throwing a 1-2 combo followed by a knee, but this time it was a feint. Sean often likes to mirror his opponent's techniques, like a copy ninja of Hidden Sugar. Unlike Vera, Sean checked his opponent's reactions a few times and noticed that Vera liked to go into a high guard, covering his head. So his next feint was a straight punch that made Chito dip down, and Sean followed up with a knee right to the chin. That's pretty much how the whole fight went. O'Malley was always a couple of steps ahead, and Marlon Vera simply couldn't set up effective traps. Sugar Sean has an excellent fight IQ, and as this bout showed, he can go 5 rounds in a stand-up battle without issues. But can he do the same against Merab Dvalishvili, who will rely on his wrestling? As I mentioned earlier, this is a fight between two different philosophies. Sean O'Malley values quality over quantity. In contrast, Merab Dvalishvili is all about quantity over quality. These two completely different approaches have made them the most successful bantamweights today. Many believe that Merab can win another decision simply due to the sheer number of takedown attempts and combinations he throws. After all, he's already defeated fighters who focused on quality over quantity, like Petr, Marlon Moraes, and Henry Cejudo. But even in those victories, Merab showed significant gaps in his striking. Moraes and Cejudo rocked him with left hooks as he closed the distance. Jan, on the other hand, is known for starting fights slowly, which played into Dvalishvili's hands. Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley hits harder, faster, and more accurately than Cejudo or Moraes, And unlike Yan, he doesn't start slow. Could Sean simply knock him out? I personally lean towards that outcome, but we must look at things realistically. It's evident that O'Malley, like all technical strikers, struggles in dirty exchanges. He even lost moments to Marlon Vera because of that approach. The same strategy made his fight with Yan extremely close. Merab will 100% use this game plan to unsettle and exhaust Sean. However, I believe Merab's inability to defend against the left hook when closing the distance or exiting the clinch will ultimately lead to O'Malley's victory. Sean has 25 minutes to knock out Dvalishvili, and as the fight with Yan showed, Sean maintains his power even when fatigued. And Merab's chin isn't as durable as that of Vera or Yan, but who knows? Maybe we are truly entering the era of cardio pressing, and Merab will win by sheer volume of takedowns and shadow boxing. What do you think? Who will win this matchup?